Good afternoon, esteemed guests, honored teachers, respected mentors, and all the startling enthusiasts present. Different challenges from our armed forces. You must be aware that Government of India is very keen and actively working toward indigenization and self-reliance through innovation and technology development. The ultimate ambition of iDEX is to develop indigenous defense manufacturing capabilities within India to reduce import dependency and boost export potentials. I would like to request all the dignitaries to have their respected seats on the dais. Welcoming is the greatest gesture of greeting someone, and welcoming the best one resembles flattering wings of a scintillating dove. I soulfully request Professor P.P. Bansod Sir to extend a warm welcome to our Honorable Chief Guest, Dr. P.K. Chande Sir, with a sapling as a token of our respect and esteem. Thank you, sir. Now, I humbly request Dr. Smita Verma, Madam, to present a sapling to Sri Tapan Mukherjee, sir. Thank you, ma'am. May I now request Dr. K.K. Dhakar, sir, to present a sapling to Professor Rakesh Saxena, sir. Thank you, sir. Now, I request Professor Vivek Tiwari, sir, to present a sapling to Lieutenant Colonel Amay. Thank you, sir. I would like to request Professor Ashwin Srivastav, sir, to present a sapling to Mr. Saurabh Bhoyer, sir. Thank you, sir. Now, I request Professor Apur Gaiwak, sir, to present a sapling to Mr. Naval Jain, sir. Thank you, all the dignitaries, for fascinating us with your aura and ambience created by your positive nature. Now, I request all the respected guests to take their seats in the front row. Excellence is never an accident. It is the result of high intention, sincere effort, intelligent direction, skillful execution, and vision to see obstacles as opportunities. I profoundly welcome Professor Rakesh Saxena, Sir, Director SGS ITS, Indore. Sir has a vast experience of consulting many industrial problems. He has also addressed many breakdowns and has been associated with many government bodies. He also has a spanning research experience of 32 years and has been guide to many doctoral theses. You are the backbone of the institute, and with your hard work and support, we are able to put our best foot forward to climb the tallest of the skyscrapers. May I now request Professor Rakesh Saxena, sir, to deliver the welcome speech.
Thank you. Good afternoon to all of you. Welcome to SGSITS Indore. I welcome our chief guest of today's program, Dr. Dk Chade, officials from IDX, Ministry of Defence, Government of India, Mr. Saurabh and Mr. Vishal. Our speakers, today's speaker, Mr. Suri from IIT Delhi, Mr. Naval Jain, winner of IDX 1, Dr. Shiv Raman, Lieutenant Colonel Amay, Sri Dk Sharma, Sri Tapan Mukherjee sir, for delivering their lectures for the benefit of students, staff, and other persons, those who have joined this program all over India, from all over India. I again welcome persons from MCT Mahu, IIT Delhi, Prestige Institute, DABB Indore and Medicap Indore for this prestigious program. I welcome all our students, faculty members, HOD and Dean for this program. This is Innovation for Defense Excellence IDX program of outreach for startup. This is a part of Defense Innovation Organization of Government of India. As the Government of India is promoting the indigenization of defense products by innovation, startup, Digital India, Make in India, Atmanirbhar Bharat. So this is a link and this is the program related to that only. आत्मनिर्भर भारत की ओर बढ़ते हुए भारत सरकार के कदम के साथ ये संस्थान एवं अन्य सभी संस्थान जो यहाँ पर आए हुए हैं, इस मध्य प्रदेश या मध्य भारत के सभी लोग जो इस प्रोग्राम से लाइव जुड़ रहे हैं, मैं उनका स्वागत करता हूं क्योंकि वो अपने छात्रों और शिक्षकों के साथ इस काम के लिए जुड़ रहे हैं आज। और हमारी सेना के लिए, भारतीय सेना के लिए हम शोध के द्वारा उनकी लक्ष्य प्राप्ति के लिए हम बहुत कुछ काम करेंगे और हम आप सभी को या भारत सरकार को हम विश्वास दिलाते हैं कि मध्य भारत या मध्य प्रदेश या इंदौर शहर के सभी संस्थान, देयर स्टूडेंट्स, देयर फैकल्टी मेंबर्स, they will do a lot for this startup program, outreach program of defense government for their benefit. Thank you to all.
Thank you so much, sir. You always make us believe in you and we are mesmerized by walking on the path paved by you. आपका बहुत बहुत आभार. Now, I would like to request our team to present DISC-6 and iDEX launch videos.
Innovations for Defense Excellence, iDEX. Asmakam Karyani, Asman Savi Karishyanti. Realizing the vision of Honorable Prime Minister in activating India 2.0 during the Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, iDEX is launching the 6th edition of Defense India Startup Challenge. DISC-6 includes a total of 38 challenges from the following companies: Garden Research Shipbuilders and Engineers with one challenge. Goa Shipyard Limited with one challenge. Mazgaon Dock Shipbuilders Limited with two challenges. Bharat Electronics Limited with 3 challenges. BEML with 1 challenge. Bharat Dynamics Limited with 1 challenge.
We have been associated gainfully with iDEX as well as DISC for the past few editions. And for this 6, we have thrown up 3 challenges. On this occasion, I would request all innovators to participate wholeheartedly in this 6th challenge and come up with solutions so that we make the country really Atmanirbhar. Jai Hind, thank you.
The newly formed companies from OFB corporatization that are Munitions India Limited with 2 challenges, Gliders India Limited with 2 challenges, India Optel Limited with 4 challenges, Troop Comforts Limited with 2 challenges, Armored Vehicles Nigam Limited with 3 challenges, and Yantra India Limited with 2 challenges.
MIL is participating for the first time and has stated 2 problems. I hope that the efforts of iDEX will bring innovative solutions to these problems. Jai Hind.
1 challenge from the Indian Army, 1 challenge from the Indian Navy, 2 challenges from the Indian Air Force, and for the first time, 3 challenges from the Indian Coast Guard.
We have introduced 3 niche ideas under the iDEX scheme. We fully endorse the Honorable Prime Minister's vision for Make in India and Atmanirbhar Bharat. Jai Hind.
Also, for the first time in iDEX, Ministry of Home Affairs has participated with 7 challenges. These challenges span across a wide range of advanced technologies, including artificial intelligence, advanced imaging and sensor systems, big data analytics, autonomous unmanned systems, secured communications, etc. Inviting startups, MSMEs, individual innovators, research and academic professionals to apply for DISC-6. Selected applicants will get grants up to rupees 1.5 crores, along with the opportunity to co-create and co-develop the defense technologies of the future with our armed forces. Besides the grant, selected winners receive product and business acceleration support from iDEX partner incubators. Access to defense facilities for QA and certification. Applications are open at idex.gov.in. To make the country self-reliant and self-sufficient in defense technologies, a progressive step was initiated. iDEX, Innovations for Defense Excellence. Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi in 2018 launched the iDEX program, a game changer in the defense ecosystem, with the objective of fostering innovation and incorporating cutting-edge and disruptive technologies in the armed forces in a quick time frame. In the last 3 years, 81 challenges have been hosted, 350 plus ideas have been shortlisted, and grants worth over 88 crores have been allocated to startups and MSMEs under the iDEX program. In order to nurture these startups and MSMEs, 14 partner incubators have been onboarded. Defense Acquisition Council clears procurement of 14 items worth over rupees 380 crores from iDEX startups, MSMEs for armed forces. To further broaden and accelerate the innovation base for Indian defense and deliver quality results in mandated timelines, iDEX is launching iDEX Prime. The program will offer up to 10 crore innovation grant support, along with technical and business development support from the partner incubators.
The iDEX initiative has grown from strength to strength. With the launch of iDEX Prime today, we will now see defining technologies being developed for our armed forces.
Challenges posed by Indian Army to develop an AI-based UGV for identifying and marking mines in a minefield. Advanced Truss Bridge.
iDEX is a novel step contributing to the government's Atmanirbhar initiative and has enabled a conducive ecosystem for young innovators and startups to pursue the development of defense technologies indigenously. And launch of iDEX Prime scheme with enhanced financial support will provide added impetus to innovation and indigenization.
Indian Navy challenges. Development of 11-meter all-electric workboat. Automated celestial navigation system.
The Indian Air Force is actively involved in the iDEX program and is pursuing several projects under the Defence India Startup Challenge and the Open Challenge. The commencement of the new initiative of iDEX Prime will give a boost to innovation and technology development to meet future challenges which are complex and fast changing.
Challenges posed by Indian Air Force. expendable active decoys, signals intelligence systems for hilly terrain and high altitude area. Together we can, together we will. Jai Hind.
To his wonderful life. I consider it a great honor to welcome Dr. P.K. Sharma Sir on the stage.
Namaskar. Good afternoon. Indeed, it's a great pleasure for me to come to this function. Even though I am addressed as a chief guest and key speaker for this session, and what would have happened with this auditorium? It would have been jam-packed. So, are we still in the mindset of looking for jobs, or are we really trying to align ourselves with the mandate, with the mission of our nation? Because the defense professionals who are sitting here, I welcome all of them to this institute. And I felt that we would have got a overwhelming response from the students. But let me assure you that I am a kind of chief mentor to this institute and students. We keep on addressing and accessing and interacting with the students. I'm sure that this is not just, don't take it as an event, but we'll take that event forward and we'll try to motivate our students and try to change their mindset from a job seeking to a something which is more oriented for the cause of the nation. Recently we know that there is a war in Ukraine, and I heard news that their citizens are returning back to their country to serve the nation. So I think we should, you are youngsters, and you should be able to bring such mindset to our country and try to support our defense system and wealth of the wealth of our country. We should not be, on one hand, we should not be job seeker but job provider, but also we should not be import seeker but export provider. That should be the mindset of Indians today. If really we want to maintain our GDP, today I have seen in newspaper that 8 point something GDP was there. And these opportunities are coming to us because our neighbor is kind of misbehaving at world platform, that is China. So it's something like that. The line of China was little bigger than India,
And now China is reducing its line, so probably our line, Indian line, is bigger than China. And if we try to become happy on that, then it is not good for us. We have to really go long term. India has to play a bigger role on the world map. And one of the prime mover or one of the impetus which has always came at the world level is progress in defense and progress in space. Now we cannot separate defense and space in today's world, and that's why US is so ahead of us. And at India we say that US is ahead because of their talent, they attract talent. Then defense projects are there. There are so many professors. They are on tenure track, and they keep on bidding and winning the projects from defense and other supporting systems. They have wonderful ecosystem. Now all these things we have to create ourselves, and we can do that. People like us will certainly guide our students, but students must also understand this need. And particularly students from GSITS should understand this need, because they can really do something. They can achieve something. And for students of GSITS, I feel that job is not their objective or their focus, or they should not be its motive. Job they will get, there is no problem for the jobs. But the job which you take authoritatively in your hands, which will be much more bigger, and that job would be innovation for defense excellence. Now defense, space, healthcare are such areas where you cannot expect none less than excellence, right? So it's not that I'm doing my project in the college and then I go away and then I take a job and go away. No, defense means 100% quality you should be able to achieve. So challenge is big. And with this challenge, because I feel students these days, they say we should get challenge. Now a challenge is before you. Now, and challenge is that you have to create something which is on the forefront. Nobody is doing it. For us, and ultimately I wanted to make that as my career. So why I am mentioning this over here, and then I went to ISRO also, satellite center. So what I am trying to say is, at this tender age of my students, if you are properly directed, if you are exposed to proper opportunities, then only you can choose your career and then go ahead. Otherwise, your career will start with the job and then end with the same job. There are many people I have seen from industries, they start their job, they work in isolation, in one silos, and they keep on doing that job throughout their career. So it is not an exploratory career. So if you are unable to explore, then how will you grow? When you try to explore, you find interest into it, you find challenges into it, you find recognition from people into it, and then you find contribution to the country. Now, unless you are with that mindset, unless you look into what is happening in the country, you will not be able to make your career and mindset. Before coming here, I was just looking into a YouTube channel and then found out how many innovations are taking place in defense. And I was just astonished that people are working in very high-tech area, particularly in Bangalore, Hyderabad, Pune, very high-tech areas, and they are producing wonderful technology. So why can't GSITS do it? Is GSTI would be measured just on the merit list or number of jobs you get? That should not be now a criteria for Saxarians. With very proudly you say, Saxaria Maharaj ki Jai. So where is the Jai? That has to be brought into Innovators. Other thing, what I am doing today, I'll just briefly tell you, after passed through so many positions at different colleges, institutions and other places, Now my job is to convert my research, whatever I have been doing in AI and robotics and things like that, into products and entrepreneurship. So I'm fortunate that 8 to 10 MTech students and BTech students of university and other colleges, they do work with me. And then we are trying to produce wonderful products, innovative products, which are not existing right now. And one of the products which we developed, Genesis started in 2013, where one of the students did PhD with me in disaster management. At that time, I was not aware what disaster management is. But then I kept focused, I kept exploring, and then ultimately we could achieve a wonderful PhD work in disaster management. Otherwise, in engineering, generally we don't think of safety, generally we don't think of environment, disasters, and so many things we don't think of. But then all these fields are open to you. And having done that, we then implemented this total platform, which has now been approved by our smart city, our collector, and that disaster management platform, which has been totally implemented by one intern which works with me from Vaishnav University. He has implemented it totally, and then you will see that existing in Indore. And then gradually, ये कुछ दिया इसने, ये क्या है, टाइम तो नहीं बता रहा. Okay, I'll finish fast. There's no problem. So what I want to say that you can do it, you can prove it, and there are people like defense has come to you. If you come up with wonderful proposal and you bid it and you prove that you have a unique idea, it can make your career. It can transform you. It can change you. So this opportunity you must take, and I'm going to see what opportunity I can find out there. Because we have developed a disaster management platform, I'm sure that it can be extended to defense also. Okay, now why GSITS? I already mentioned you. You have talented students, but they should be interested. You have talented faculty, you have wonderful labs, and you have genuinity. Genuinity means whatever you will do it truthful. These are the parameters which are very, very important if you want to really come up to this challenge. There are 3-4, just for the information of our defense personnel, there are 3-4 defense projects which have been done by Indorians, and one of them, Professor Tapan Mukherjee is sitting here, that pop-up, pop-up targets. He used to work on that for maybe 30-40 years before that. So why can't you? There are other digital integrator. Mr. Vyas is sitting somewhere here. He has done ballistic computational controller. Then there are Siddharth Dhawale, who has set up his industry on light guide, and he makes very sophisticated lenses for equipment used in night vision and all that. So people are doing it, and you should also try to do it. And I believe that you'll certainly take interest in to do. For yours, I want to say that you are right now in right age, you are on right platform, and now you have a right ecosystem. Right? Right ecosystem means if you have to do something for the country, others will take 2 steps to reach you and help you out. So this is a wonderful opportunity for all of you. Just last few words. Success. What is success? First keyword for success or mantra is everything is possible. When you try to work, it has happened with me and everyone. हमको ऐसा लगता है कि ये possible नहीं होगा. But if you look to the growth of the country and the mobile phone and the kind of development which are taking place, I feel for humanity, everything is possible on this earth. So that is the first determination or commitment you should have with yourself. Second important thing is patience. You will take time. Everyone takes time. So you should have patience. You should believe in your idea and keep on working on that. Take challenges. Have vision developed from your seniors. and then have a big team networking and be a first mover in with your idea. If these 3, 4, 5 things, if you take into mind, I believe that you will certainly succeed. You will become proud for your nation, and the nation will be proud of you, and you will enjoy your career. Just don't look for jobs. Come forward, and defense is here. The wonderful thing is that they are going to tell you what you can do. Because in innovation or doing research, the important thing is the problem statement. Here you might get a problem directly with you, that these are the problems, can you solve it? And then if you are able to solve it, you will get funding, you will get mentoring, you will get support, and you don't have to run for markets and things like that. Or maybe you can have international markets for you. So it's a wonderful opportunity, and thanks for the defense personnel who have come here. Thanks for my own institute who remembered me at this juncture. I'm very happy and wish you all the best, doctor. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. That was indeed a motivating and extremely inspiring speech. Today, we have with us Mr. Saurabh Bhoyar, sir, Program Executive Officer of IDEX Defense Innovation Organization. Mr. Saurabh has been working with IDEX since January 2021. Prior this, he has served the Indian Navy and Indian Coast Guard as a technical officer in the rank of Assistant Commandant. Now, I would like to ask Mr. Saurabh Bhoyar, sir, to come on the stage for the presentation of IDEX overview and the question-answer session.
Perfect. So thank you so much for inviting us to the Indore SGSITS Institute. So the main purpose I would like to express initially why we are here. So we are working with the defense innovation ecosystem, and the major concentration that we have so far since 2019 operation is from Hyderabad, Bangalore, and Chennai, the southern area. And we, the top officials of the Ministry of Defense, have immense belief and also expectations from Central India that the innovations and the expertise that lies in the Central India have so much to contribute towards the nation building, and specifically for the defense innovation. So far we have only one startup that is representing Indore. He's also with us. He will share the experience working with us coming from the Indore. And our major motive is to motivate the young innovators and academic personnel from Indore and the nearby Central India area so that they can join us and contribute towards the nation building, specifically for the defense innovation. So now I would like to take you through the Defense Innovation Organization, the organization principles that we have, and also I'm more interested to take the question answer sessions. What is your expectations as innovators, and what is your aspirations before joining us? So this is the organization overview. We started our organization since 2018. Honorable Prime Minister Mr. Modi launched the iDEX Innovation for Defense Excellence in DEF Expo 2018 in Chennai. Mrs. Nirmala Sitharaman was then Defense Minister. And 2019 we started our operations, and the Defense India Startup Challenge is the first flagship program that we launched. In Defense India Startup Challenge, we generally get the challenges from our security forces and the armed forces, and we facilitate those challenges to get the resolution by the startups through innovation and technology development. And we help the startups and we co-create the entire solution working with the startups, and we also provide the mentorship support to the startups through our partner incubators. Those are premier academic institutions of our country like IITs and IIMs. So this is the main principle of our organization, is to facilitate the innovation and co-create the technological and innovative products that can solve the security and defense challenges of our country, and then empower the startup and enterprising industry, and also empower the security challenges, the security forces that we have, to ultimately strengthen the national security and the defense of our country, so that we have means more and higher kind of standing in the global order. So this is the journey that we have. Is started from 2018, and 2019 we started with the first round of Defense India Startup Challenge, and since 2019 we have been adding progressive steps towards our organization. We are a defense innovation organization. We are also doing innovation within our own organization to actually solve the bottlenecks and the difficulties that we have within our organization, so that we can support more and more startups, and we also can facilitate the rapid prototyping. So since 2019 we have been doing progressive steps to reduce the bottlenecks and solve the policy issues to actually facilitate the rapid prototyping with our stakeholders that we have across Indian ministries. So this is the support system that we provide as DIO to the startups. We have three basic pillars of support system. One is the DIO, which is us. We provide the grant, which is 1.5 CR for DISC and 10 CR for IDEX Prime challenges. Apart from the grant support, we also provide mentorship and the bottlenecks that you face during your product development journey. The another support pillar that we provide to you is the partner incubator support, that I already told you that they are the premier academic institutions like IITs and IIMs. We are also looking forward to have partner incubator support from the institutions like SGSITS. That is why one of the more reasons that we are here, that we want to bring institutions like SGSITS to our incubation forum, because we also have army establishment of MCT Mahu here. So with these kind of infrastructure support, we can also tap the potential that Central India have within itself. And the third support that we provide to is connection with the armed forces and security of services. They actually help you and they handhold you throughout the product development. They actually guide you what is their actual requirement. We also have nodal officer from Indian Army who will share his perspective and experiences, what he needs from you as an innovator. So this is the layout of partner incubators that we have. We have total 14 partner incubators in our country. So you can see the larger concentration and penetration is in after the Hyderabad, the southern area, and we are trying to actually shift the focus and have more concentration and representation within central and northern India, and also have some representation from the eastern side. So we recently added IIT Guwahati to our partner incubator panel, also to just facilitate the innovations and support startup those who are coming from the eastern India. So we have pan India presence, also looking for to develop this presence within the central India. So this is the process of IDEX, how we operate. So first we take the problem statement, the operational challenges that the security forces have, what they need to actually solve, what they need to upgrade their existing capabilities and infrastructure, and then we curate those problem statement, and then we launch those problem statement as set of innovative challenges we throw to the citizens of India, and we ask the challenges from your side. What is your capabilities and your expertise that you have gathered through your education and networking, and we seek those solutions from you, and we translate those innovative solutions toward creative and constructive products which can solve the challenges that was set forth by defense forces. Currently we are at the outreach event session. We are conducting the outreach session here in Indore, just to provide you the opportunity and sensitize you what we are doing and what we need from you, and after that we will have application shortlisting and then further process. So that and that is why we are here, to motivate and inspire you to join us, apply for the challenges that you have seen. You can also go through the website and see the detailed challenges in the website, and also we have conducted technical sessions with the nodal officers, in which you can get the exact detail and specification what exactly is the need from the defense services for those particular challenges. So this is the layout of the website. The iDEX.gov.in is the website. You can get the complete hack of the organization and challenges, everything in our website. And this was the launch event on 22nd April held in New Delhi. So DISC-6 and IDX Prime was launched by Defense Minister himself, and we also provided some of the startups the opportunity to showcase their projects that they have developed so far. So we also give the opportunity to startups, those who are working with us, to showcase their existing products that they have developed in India. Also in the international forums, we provide the opportunities to startups to showcase their capabilities and potentials. So recently we have got Prime Minister Award in the category of innovation. As I said, that we are also doing innovation and solving the bottlenecks and policy issues within our own organization. So recognizing that, we have received PM Award in the category of innovation for helping security forces and armed forces for their modernization and boosting the indigenous nations' capabilities. So this is the team. Directly, we are governed by Honorable Defense Minister, and Defense Secretary is the DIO board member, and we have HAL and BEL chairman in our board, and also MD AIM, Atal Innovation Mission, Mr. Chintan is the board member, and we have Mr. Sanjay Jaju, Additional Secretary Defense Production, is the CEO of Defense Innovation Organization, and Joint Secretary DIP is the additional CEO, and there is a list of team we have. This is the glimpse of application which you will see in the website if you wish, when you wish to apply for the challenges. So most rarely we get the question from the audience: what do you actually seek from the applications initially? Because we only give kind of a paragraph challenge to you, and general question is, what do you actually expect from the applicants? So our expectation is nothing huge. We just are seeking what exactly you understood from that challenge, and what is your apprehension of that challenge, and what is your idea, what is your solution, and what is your comprehension towards that approaching that that particular challenge. So this is only specifically we are looking for your idea and your understanding of that solution. And also apart from this, we also look for the team that you have. That doesn't mean if you're applying alone will reduce your chances. You can apply alone also, and also the previous projects that you have undertaken or you're currently doing. So these are the few criteria that we look for applications. So this is the glimpse of the application, and this is again the application for Prime. So Prime is the recent addition to Defense Innovation Organization. Earlier we used to have Defense India Startup Challenge, that is the flagship scheme that we have, in which we provide grant to 1.5 CR. So Prime is the mega project for us, in which we take the very bigger challenges from the security agencies, and therefore we provide the higher amount of grant, which is 10 CR. So the project will be of very bigger size. So generally those established companies and MSMEs we are expecting that they will approach for this particular challenges, and the innovators, the young innovators, the fresh innovators would usually apply for these challenges. So this is what overall I had, and now I would like to have the interaction with the audience, or any questions of any sort you have for our organization, for the challenges, or anything you may wish to ask. You are open to ask. Thank you. Yes, please. This is the 6th edition of Defense in India Startup Challenge, sir. Earlier we had 5 round of this. The gentleman.
It's wonderful presentation by you people. I want to ask whether present MSMEs can participate in this?
Definitely, sir. MSMEs can also participate.
Thank you so much for this event, and thank you so much for the opportunity. My question is, I believe all these challenges for Indian Army.
No. They are from different security establishments, like
for
Army.
defense, right? Okay.
Yes. They all are from MOD, Ministry of Defense.
I did some Google and I found that ARVR can help in training, Army training. So is there any opportunity where we can help Army for training?
Definitely. So apart from Defense India Startup Challenge, so we have another opportunity wherein you can pitch your solution. Suppose you have some idea, some solution, or some prototype that you think can support our security forces and armed forces. So you can also apply through this challenge called Open Challenge, wherein you can pitch your solution, whatever you have as idea, and we will also fund you for developing that prototype to a logical conclusion. So Open Challenge is the route wherein you can pitch your solution also.
is there any application for that?
Yeah, that is similar kind of application for Open Challenge also, and you can also get 1.5 CR grant in Open Challenge also.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
I just wanted a clarification. See, innovation is something which would come out of exploration and exposure.
Correct.
Now, as a non-defense personnel, we are not exactly aware of the situation, the kind of needs, and what are the challenges defense is facing on world scenario, what are going on, what are strategic moves people are going on. I think if you have a session of that type, that these are our challenges and expose us more on what kind of innovation could be done, then probably we'll be able to say more. Because as such, I come to your website and depending upon my background and exposure, I can come out with something. But I'm not very sure what is the area in which I will be able to support my defense system. So that clarification I want.
Definitely, it's a very valid point. Thank you for raising that. So we have done some kind of analysis within our organization for checking that how much percentage of startup those who are working with us come from or belongs to defense industries or have defense background. So we were very surprised. Initially, we were expecting that we have something around more than 50% those who directly come from defense background or have some linkage with the defense. But there were around more than 80% of startups, those who are like you and me, no defense background, they're directly coming out of academia or the corporate industry, and they are utilizing their expertise and their knowledge, translating towards developing innovative products which can solve the security challenges. So definitely, sir, taken your point. Thank you so much for feedback. Also, we have nodal officer. He will share his expectations and perspective as a user, and we would like to have further sessions highlighting the needs and the challenges of security forces. Thank you for that.
Sir, I have a question.
Sir.
Like whatever you have shown us, that's an excellent thing. And most of the things, they appear to be technology based. I'm a man of chemistry. So how much I can contribute towards developing, say, chemical warfare. Probably the next war, though this Ukraine war is kind of, I feel it's kind of a funny, wherein the people are going directly to the other nation and they are fighting on the battlegrounds. Probably the next war is not going to be like that. People are going to use chemical warfare or maybe biological warfare agents. So is there anything which we people like chemistry or biology people?
I just missed your keyword. You're man of
chemistry.
Chemistry.
So like developing chemical warfare agents or maybe biological warfare agents.
Yeah, we have challenges across wide range of technology, sir. So we have only seen AI and related technologies.
Yeah, that's what I am saying. That's
yeah,
I need to know.
We have some biological scientists and chemical scientists working with us. Yeah. I can recall one professor working from Bangalore. She's chemical scientist. So we have challenges and means we need innovation from across the technological industry.
Yeah, because we are using some computing techniques to design something.
Right.
Like I'm into design of novel drugs and all those things. So similarly, designing novel chemical warfare agents or something like that. And is there anything, any kind of support available for us?
So just to motivate and inspire those who do not come from the similar backgrounds of AI and mechanical and all these things. So these challenges are very interdisciplinary in nature. So you cannot approach only one solution, one challenge or one technological approach to come to a conclusion or solution. You need to have interdisciplinary approach. You need to have multiple expertise within your team. So I think definitely any technological or engineering background or expertise would be essential providing the innovations for us.
But like for my kind of work, I don't need, because I've got a team which without even having an engineer or a technocrat, we are doing great.
Right. So in that case, sir, I would encourage you to kind of look for building a team of innovators having different technological expertise, and then coming to us, having a solution for any identified challenges that you see in the challenge, or propose your own solution. So it is better that you form a team with the mixed expertise of means academicians and approach us for solving some of the challenges.
So where to contact you? Like how to contact you?
So I
there
visited physically, so I would definitely remember everyone from SGS ITS. You can definitely approach me or to our organization. In website, you get the email ID and every contact details.
Okay, great. Right. Sure. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
See, one more suggestion, because unless we create an ecosystem, we'll not be able to produce great ideas.
Correct.
So I was just wondering, we have lots of laboratories, DRDO, ISRO, SCL, and so on. So maybe those people or scientists working or engineering working there would have certain problems to be solved. If those problems are made known to institutions like us, then probably it will be one step forward, or without thinking of innovation, we try to take part into solving the problem. Maybe that could also be a good step to really achieve our target.
Definitely. So we are actively looking for and pursuing the hope of building kind of creative and constructive ecosystem for defense. And that is why we have growing since 2019, since our inception. And that is why we also launched the Prime Challenges. And we also have means partner and collaborations with the ISRO and DRDOs. And we look forward to connect the academia also with them, taking their challenges and translating those challenges into solutions. So we are also doing that, and also towards creating ecosystem. So we believe in catching them young. So we have internship opportunities also, starting from 6th class till the PhD, to join to call students to join us and gain the exposure, first-hand exposure, working with the defense innovation, and also have this opportunity wherein those students who are trained or those who wish to contribute for defense innovation can apply through DISC and iDEX Prime Challenges. So we are building the ecosystem holistically, and we are coming up with more programs and initiatives.
Sir, this is my first exposure for IDX, and my question is simple: is there any timeline for this challenge?
Yes. So earlier we had 6th June as the deadline. Now we have increased till 20th June. So for these challenges, you can apply till 20th June, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Hello. Thanks for this opportunity. I'm Sunil Vyas from Digital Integrator Private Limited.
Yes, sir.
We are into defense innovation for past 31 years. My question to you that at times there are weapon systems which are to be integrated in the innovation. Now the challenge we have been facing is access to those platforms or systems. Is there any bridging mechanism has been developed by iDEX to bridge that gap?
Definitely,
that's
sir.
a big concern.
So that was definitely a big concern, and that is why innovation for defense action, our own organization, is getting so much limelight, because we understand that anyone, those who are working for defense, could not get direct access to the defense establishment and platforms, and we have made that very, very simple. And recently, we would be very happy to know that 14 of the projects that we are working with have recently got the procurement order from the Defense Acquisition Council headed by Raksha Mantri, and they are just in the testing stages, but their procurement order have been placed. Only because we have given them sufficient and ample amount of opportunities for getting access to the defense platform, and we have innovators, those who are working with us, Dr. Shiva Raman. So he has worked with Army, Navy, and Air Force. So he has access all the facilities and infrastructure of all three forces. So he will better share his experience, how he get support from us, and how he delivered his projects.
Sir, my question is, by 20th June, we have to submit the business plan also?
No, sir. We are only looking for your comprehension about the challenge and your idea how you are approaching to solve the challenge. Right. That's it. Any further question? Yes, sir.
One thing that comes to mind, I mean, definitely we have to trust every time, but there are many things like curriculum writing and other things are there that need to be uploaded. But then there is your plan about what you intend to do with your challenge or what has been given. So if 100 people or 150 people, 200 people approach for the same item or same equipment, then how, like the one that is chosen is there, But what happens to the other ideas that have been put into it?
Okay. You are asking about the...
It will come into intellectual property if it is there, if it comes under that category, because there is some idea that is being floated. It is being interacted upon.
Right. So we do not, that's why I said we are only seeking for your comprehension of that particular challenge and your idea of the solution. If you think that any of this information is confidential or of having some nature related to IP, we do not seek those information during the application stage. After you are onboarded into the ecosystem, we have very stringent policies wherein you preserve your own IPs. We do not have nothing to do with your IP. Yeah.
But here we are innovating. We are innovating and we are presenting our ideas on a platform. Right. There is a column for what is your idea about this whole challenge.
Correct.
That file needs to be uploaded.
Correct.
So that is an intellectual property which has been created.
Correct.
It may have been done before or not. The person may or may not be aware. That is floated. But that idea does not work upon with your...
Understood.
But that is available with the organization.
Correct.
So how that...
I understood your question. How that is preserved, you're asking.
How that is preserved? Because we may not have applied for IPRs for that as now.
I understood your question, sir. So we have very stringent policies regarding safeguarding of your expertise and innovations. And we do a non-disclosure agreement after you get selected. Before you get selected, we also have very stringent policies that I cannot disclose as of now. But your expertise, your solution, your IP, everything remains very stringent, very safe, and you do not need to worry about those things at this stage. I can commit that only, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Yes, ma'am.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Thanks for the nice presentation.
Thank you.
I'm just watching your poster over there. So it is mentioned there on DISC we are having 38 challenges.
Right.
And for these challenges, 1.5 crore supports is to be provided from iDEX side.
Right.
So I'm just interested to know, can you list some brief this number challenges? Out of these 38 challenges, if you give some list of some few challenges, so we can start thinking in that
Definitely,
direction.
sir. So we shown a video for the 6 challenges wherein we shown all the challenges in one sentence. If you can go to our website, you will find the description about every challenge. So you can go to our website and you can peacefully see all these challenges, and you can prepare your idea and strategies, which challenges you are interested, you have capabilities, and you can definitely welcome to apply, sir.
Very nice. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Sir, is it possible to know how these challenges are evaluated?
So just to give you the glimpse or overview, we have 3 rounds of evaluation. After you submit your application, we at DIO go through the application, the genuinity and the completeness of application, the basic screening. And after that, we send these applications to PIs, our partner incubators, the premier technical institutions, and they further shortlist the applicants. And then they finally send those applications to challenge owners, their respective agency or the security agency or the armed forces. And then they finally invite you for the presentation, detailed presentation, understanding your capabilities, your ideas and your team, everything. And then they take the final decision for the selection. This is the selection procedure.
What is the time frame for this evaluation process?
4 weeks maximum.
Covering all 3 steps?
Yes. Okay, thank you so much. So we'll be having more very distinguished panel of speakers. You can ask your questions to them also. The 3 upcoming will be existing DISC winners, the startups, and the also officer from nodal agency, Indian Army. So you can ask the questions to them also. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir, for this interactive session. I am gratified with the virtual presence of Dr. Manan Suri, sir, Sir leads the NVM and Neuromorphic Hardware Research Group at IIT Delhi and is the founder of IIT Delhi deep tech startup Siren AI Solutions. His research expertise includes semiconductor technology and advanced AI hardware. His work has been globally recognized by numerous prestigious institutions. He was selected by MIT Technology Review, USA, as one of the world's top 35 innovators under the age of 35 in 2018. May I now request Professor Manan Suri Sir, winner of DISC-4, to share his experience of working with innovation for defense excellence from academic perspective.
Hello, hello. Am I audible? Hello, am I audible?
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Yeah. So it seems like my camera is not working, but I'll just try to share my screen. So.
Okay.
So is my screen visible?
Yes, sir, it is clearly visible.
Yeah. I'm just trying to fix the camera settings. So. I cannot control the camera from here. So in the options that it is giving me, it is not letting me turn on or turn off the camera of my system. So if the meeting host has to give a permission to change the settings from there. So.
Okay, sir, we'll check that from our side.
Yeah, if you can just check for the
Sir, you are
hello. Okay. So I'll if my screen is visible, I'll start then in the interest of time. So so good afternoon, everyone. First of all, thank you to DIO officials and DIO team for giving me this opportunity to speak, and I would also like to thank the SGITS management, the faculty, staff, students, for having me here. So we are, one of the winners of the DISC-4 challenge, which is an Indian Army challenge, and we are building an AI solution over there. I'll keep it short. I'll just try to address a few points, a few things that I think you should keep in mind, or some learnings that I can share at the start of IDEX journey, or if you're considering applying to IDEX. So, the first question that I'd like to answer here is why IDEX? There are different opportunities, there are different challenges in academia, in R&D, in startups, then why consider IDEX? I was thinking about it, how we have spent time on this challenge and our engagement with IDEX, and I could come up with, some following factors which make me believe that what are the benefits of engaging in IDEX. So the first point is that it's a real world opportunity. Because you're tied to a real end user. There was a question by, I think, one of the audience members to the previous speaker, Saurabh, that, how do we get to know more closely what is the status of the defense end user? So this challenge, the IDEX actually provides you an opportunity to formally engage with the end user and also learn from the end user what their requirements are. And whatever solution is being built here, or whatever challenge you're attempting, because it is a end user driven problem, so it's a problem, the solution to which will have an impact. It's not a solution just for sake of being there, or it's not just like any other competition. It is something which would have a real impact. So that is the first benefit of engaging in this thing. Second thing is obviously is more it's a way, it's an opportunity as techies, as academics, as engineers to give back to your country. If the solution can be adopted in any form, if it can solve any problem of the soldiers on ground, then definitely it's something to be very satisfied and proud of. Third thing again is very important, is that unlike any other sector, defense requires a very different treatment, and this was also learning for us in the process. It's not a short-term sector like any other deep tech sector. It requires a planning of several years. You need to think about 1 to 2 decades in advance before road mapping your defense solutions or innovations, because that is the timelines involved with defense. And also defense tech solutions require extreme rigor. They require to go through extreme testing, or let's say they require to be of it, because here what is at stake are lives, and so there can be no scope of the technology going haywire. So it's one of the most challenging as well as enriching sectors to be involved with. Say if you develop tech for defense, definitely most any other sector that you go after experiencing defense will appear easier to you after going through the grind that is required at defense. Then what I would like to emphasize is, don't consider iDEX as a challenge or as an award. Please consider it as a process. It's a very formal mechanism where you can learn many things, and where you can see that how one by one, in a very systematic way, milestone by milestone or step by step, your project, your innovation, your idea moves in the direction of becoming a deployable product. So it's actually a process, and we feel that it's really worth it to be a part of that process, because it goes beyond just the technology or the innovation. You learn many other things also as academics or as students approaching it. And the thing is that if you progress well, the stakes in this process, they get high very fast, because these are actual problems on ground. These are actual critical problems for which solutions are being sought. So if your solution becomes promising, if there is some hope that it can address some of the real issues, then you would see that many stakeholders in the MOD or the government or the armed forces, they get interested, and they all come together to support you. So also you become a part of many procedures, the Ministry of Defense processes, which otherwise one would not be exposed to if one is just doing tech. So it has a very steep learning curve as well. So these are the 5 primary reasons, I think, why it makes sense to invest time in a challenge like iDEX. And DIO, the good thing is that the DIO is refining it and simplifying the process every day. Many challenges, they just start and there is no feedback mechanism, but in DIO there is very active reception to the problems of innovators, to the concerns of innovators, and they are actively working and refining. So really hats off to the DIO team for that. Now, the next question I'd like to answer is, why academia? Why look at universities, faculty, or students? So as a faculty, what I can tell you is that teachers, they do a lot of things. They conceptualize, they innovate in their day-to-day job, they communicate, they plan a lot, they constantly validate and reiterate their experiments or whatever science or tech they're exploring. This is a part of your day job. The faculty or research managers, they have to have a vision. They have to have some sort of road mapping which the students or the research staff could follow or look into. Then you have to troubleshoot as well, and you have to foster teamwork. So these are some points, these boxes that I put, these points that I put in here. What I'm trying to say is that these are the parts of the day job of faculty who are involved with research, teaching, development of technology. These are activities which you do, which you end up doing inadvertently, knowingly, unknowingly. And what you would realize is these are the very activities which are needed of, these are the very hats that an entrepreneur needs to wear. So it's just, it's a direct match of some of the things that faculty in India end up doing. and what is needed at an entrepreneurial level to take forward your technology. Now, one very important point here is that our universities, they in our ecosystem, they have an R&D edge, and that is because of several reasons. Because the research is happening, and there are students, there are scholars, there is that vibrant atmosphere of research. So, as I mentioned earlier, that defense technology or defense deep technology is a long-term game. It's not something for 5 years or 6-7 years. It's longer than that. So it has to be constantly fueled by R&D. It cannot be, you cannot get into defense deep tech, defense innovation, or if you're not thinking about R&D from day one, how you're going to continuously improve your solution or make your solution worthy for the user. Now, this kind of R&D ecosystem naturally comes to universities. So I think it's a win-win situation to engage in IDEX products while you're IDEX solutions while you're a part of the academic ecosystem. Whether you're a university researcher, whether you're a faculty, whether you're a student, so it really makes sense to engage in these type of challenges. You can engage in many different deep tech challenges, but particularly defense ones are the ones which benefit from R&D. So if students are interested, I would suggest they should make faculty their mentors or advisors on setting onto this journey, because they have that long-term vision. They can share their experience, and if faculty are interested to take up IDEX challenge, then they can form strong student teams to jointly work forward. Now, what we really miss here in the academic ecosystem is these things: marketing and understanding the market. Let's ignore marketing, because marketing comes when a solution or technology is ready. But understanding the market is very important. If you don't build a solution which is valuable to your end user, no matter how fancy is the technology, there is no point in doing that. It misses. So here, defense end user is not very accessible. Whether it is about their platforms, whether it is about their real day-to-day problems, it's something which is not available. That information is not available in public domain very easily, or it's just not that accessible. But IDEX, as a process, IDEX formally makes you engage with the end user from very early stages. So that problem of understanding the market and building your solution attuned to the market is where IDEX really makes a difference. So also, just to mention, it's a good time to innovate while being in the universities. There are several national and state level schemes by the government which are being pushed around. The new NEP, the National NISP, Innovation and Startup Policy. So it is a good time to, if you are in the academic ecosystem, it's one of the best times to start thinking of these activities, because there is encouragement at different levels to faculty, scholars, research scholars, as well as students to start building indigenized products. So this goes in hand with what IDEX is trying to do. So university like SGS, ITS can really stakeholders can benefit from such scheme. So I'll just quickly share some learnings that we had in our IDEX journey. First point I'd like to mention is that you really have to make a start. Most technical problems are challenges till you start them. You can't just keep thinking it's a big challenge. You have to take the plunge at some point, and then problems start giving away. If you are in tech, you need to create your barriers to entry. So you have to have an IP culture. While attempting your IDEX innovation, what I found really nice is that the audience is already very well sensitized about IPR concerns. So some very nice questions were raised to the previous speaker. So that is other thing that I'd like to share. Third thing is more of a practical sense, frugality. In academia, when we get grants, we don't have a concept of matching grants. We get full grants to run projects. So here, IDEX is a matching grant concept, which means you have to chip in the funds from your side as well. So that helps. So that's a different set of different kind of planning, different kind of project planning that you need to envision. That you need to get tuned to, which is more realistic planning in terms of the entrepreneurial world. You have to really spend only on extremely necessary actions, and you need to build in some buffer for your for the timeline of your project, or you need to have your plan Bs. So fourth point I'd like to mention is that your best teachers are your end users. So as soon as you have your first prototype solutions, or even if you're approaching your prototype or minimum viable products, you must make an effort to take them to the end user, to the armed forces end user, because when they test your beta products or your early versions, they are the ones who will give you the most valuable advice. And if you refine as per the customers or the user's requirement, that is where your solution will get improved. Another point I would like to mention is that defense is hard, so and tech deep tech is also hard. If you mix them both, it becomes extremely hard. So you need to be perseverant. And just to give you an example, we first applied to iDEX 1, which was in 2018. We almost made it till the last round of the selections, but then we were not shortlisted as one of the winners. So we didn't get demoralized, or we kept on looking for the next set of challenges where we could contribute. And then in iDEX 4, we applied again, and we got selected, and now we are towards the closure of our iDEX 4 solution. So you need to be perseverant with this kind of thing. Other point is again, time management. You have to work you have to work as a team. You have to prioritize between different actions that your innovation or solution development would take. You have to be able to take decisions, what time to pick up what task. And you need to plan extensively, because there are factors which are beyond your control, because this is not just your own research which you're driving. This is a solution for an end user which is on field. So that needs to be really looked into. You need to tap into the support infrastructure that you have from the university and from the university incubator. So in that sense, we were very fortunate to be encouraged and supported by IIT Delhi and IIT Delhi's incubator FITT. So these are some things, some very generic points which I'm happy to share with all of you. And then if there are any questions, I'll be more than happy to take them. So.
We don't have any question as of now, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Character cannot be developed in ease and quiet. Only through experience of trial and suffering can the soul be strengthened, ambition inspired, and success achieved. Now, I would like to request Mr. Naval Jain, sir, winner of Open Challenge 1.0, to kindly share his experience of working with iDEX.
Honorable Director Sir, Dr. P.K. Chande Sir, other dignitaries, Lieutenant Colonel Amay Sir, Mr. Saurabh, a good and all faculties and my dear friends. A very cool noon to all of you. I represent here Starbrew Tech Systems Private Limited. I am founder of this company along with my partner, Mr. Astos Rai. Max things have been delivered by Mr. Saurabh about iDEX, and I feel I should share my journey in this iDEX here. And thanks, Mr. Saurabh and DIO team for calling us and giving us opportunity to share our journey. This college, SGSIT, is very near and dear to me. Though I have not studied from here, I am pass out. I have done my bachelor's from Vaishnav, Sri Vaishnav Institute of Technology and Science. But I used to visit this college after completing my college for imparting practical sessions here. There used to be societies who used to teach students various electronics and hands-on on various projects. So I used to come here for taking various sessions. Later on, we moved on, and I started this company, Starbrew Tech Systems. And in this company, we are in the domain of embedded systems, application development. And we started our journey with providing industrial support and technical supports to industries. now totally focused over defense side. Like we have a proficiency in the communication side, and we also hold a patent in communication systems. So when we entered into we were working on one of the project which was very useful for our defense system, especially army, BSF, CRPF and all. But again, as you all know, entering into defense ecosystem is not an easy task, and cracking the orders or procurement orders is the toughest thing which existed in our country in defense sector, I would say, as my experience. Again, as previous Dr. Manan Suri also shared his experience, when you build a product for defense, it should be the rugged one. It's the most toughest product we are building up. So for building a rugged product, you need a lot of finance. Another hurdle for a startup or a newcomer or a new, I would say, a newcomer or as a person who has just entered into business line. Next hurdle with defense side is when you build a product, it has to be tested on field. On-field trials is a must for defense products, and for its acceptability, for its user trials. All these problems were addressed, and I thank the present government, the DIO team, and this iDEX scheme. All these problems were addressed, and a framework has been designed where we get the solution or say answers to all the above problems which I pointed out. And here what you get is a support from nodal officer. A nodal officer is appointed who is actually a user of your product. Maybe your product may cater to army or air force or navy. So a particular person who is the actual user will be assigned to you, who will guide you for the right development of your product. So this is the best thing which iDEX provides us. A nodal officer. Next is another is DIO team themselves, who are very supportive in nature, and wherever the startup, wherever you fails or you need any support from any lab, any government body, or you need any discussion with a body where a startup cannot approach directly. So DIO is there to take you there and to get you connected. Next, we have a partner incubator who gives you support in various ways, who keeps following you, who gets you connected to various technologies, or is there any problem coming? They are intermediate who solves your problems as per this journey. Now, this is what iDEX is. iDEX is, or my expenses till now. Now, and when you come, iDEX, as you know, iDEX has two types of programs, DISC and Open Challenge. And third, recently has been introduced iDEX Prime. In DISC challenges, the problem statement is provided by the user, or say the problem statements are already defined. You have to provide the solution. But in Open Challenges, you can suggest your solution. You will have to suggest the existing problem and your solutions. So we are the winner of first Open Challenge winner, iDEX Open Challenge 1.0. So it was the first time where we only suggested the current issues which our defense forces are facing, and we suggested our solution. So it was scrutinized by high-profile selection committee, HPSC, which included higher rank army personals and other high authority dignitaries. And later, it was selected. Now the stages and procedure of the selection have a bit changed. So, and it is a more smoothing process, and easiness also there. Most important, other than the support, what you get is the funding. There is a support of 1.5 CR funding max in iDEX challenges and Open Challenges, and now iDEX Prime is 10 CR. But yeah, remember one thing, there is also a matching contribution thing. So whatever you ask for from government side, we also have to put in, the company has also put in the matching contribution. The same amount we have also put in. So these are the few points I like to highlight upon. And when I came here, I came to know that we are the only company who is in iDEX from Central India. I was amazed that all, sir, it's a good thing, but I was amazed that Indoris are first in cleanness, then why not you are in ahead in like startups and all. When we had started our journey, there was no such ecosystem. Startup word was not there. It was simply a business. Any entrepreneur is doing a business. This startup ecosystem was created after 2016, and we have, and government provided various supports like finance, incubation centers were opened. GSIT also has incubation center. So all these supports were provided, and now we have seen there are many tremendous startups with tremendous ideas and good business scopes. But still we see that startup in this side of defense sector is still lacking. But this IDEX program is completing this lack of new startups coming, and anyone who like to enter into defense sector or say ecosystem, IDEX is the best platform or easiest way to enter this ecosystem. Rest, I'm open for the queries. From my side, it's most of the things have been covered, like why IDEX you should choose have been covered up before only. If is there any query, I'm happy to answer. So we are tackling the problem of RF communications. Indian Army uses radio sets for their communications, and these radio sets are like has been being used from past 15 years and all. So these radio sets are like very good for voice, but not real-time data communications are there. So what we have suggested is to upgrade these systems without any modification within them. Just providing an add-on device, and these devices will be now active for data communications also real-time. Means on runtime, on field, you can use the text and transfer and various like map walls and other things.
Have you received some order also?
Sir, Hurdle is sitting in North India. And
Order.
So, order
from.
See, I just missed out. See, IDEX program has a phase out. Means they have divided the complete product development stage into phases or say milestones. So you have to cross every milestone. There can be 4 or 5 milestones, and you have to cross every milestone. And after completing or in your last stage milestone, and after we get trials, on field trials, we get the orders. So we have just started, and we are in currently milestone 2 only. Sorry? No. It's technical work only. This milestone starts after everything has been signed up, and technical work starts from there only. Usually, all things has to be like predefined.
So, what challenges you face while your journey of this?
See, ma'am, sitting in North India or say Indore. So you, as Mr. Saurav also told, most of the companies selected are from South. So Southern India is very much high, like Hyderabad, Chennai, Bangalore. These are the hub for technology. And in Indore, like we have very limited resources. I personally feel the manpower were very good, knowledgeable persons, experienced persons who have the experiences of like defense sector, product making, military standards, and all knowledgeable persons. I could not find out right here in Indore. Ma'am, we are like challenges have to be solved. It's like personal issues. We tackle it. We go where we are. Like we have visited Bangalore many times. Find out. We have included few members for few retired persons from Bell and all who have knowledge of already what we do not know. So we have included them in our company. So now we are coming up hurdles and we are solving them. It's like.
Students, raise your question, please. आपको ज़्यादा पूछना है.
Sorry. So incubator, I think we can say you can only select incubator. Part incubator you can only select, and we have selected Forge Coimbatore. It's Southern India. Forge is there one, and nodal officers and all are allotted by DIO only. And I feel here we have Lieutenant Colonel Amay sir, and I thank you, sir, very much. He himself and his colleagues have supported us very much in developing and guiding us very much in developing our product and taking our product. Any other question? At last, I would request the students here to come up to study the problem statements, whatever has been posted in these 6 challenges. Come up their solutions, try it out, maybe not be selected this time, but surely when you start anything, you might fail first time. But these challenges will be coming up 7, 8, 9, 10, it will be a regular process. So you can be a next entrepreneur good, and I will be happy to see that Indoreans are ahead and competing with Southern India also. And we also know that a few days ago, there was a startup program by Shivraj Singh Chauhan sir here in Indore only. And they are also promoting a lot startups, and they are giving many supports for startups. Sir, I will give you personally. I will give you personally, sir. So thank you all.
Thank you very much, sir. I would like to extend a profound welcome to Dr. R. Shivraman Sir, technical co-founder of Big Bang Boom Solutions. He is a PhD in nanotechnology, magnetic data storage devices, which is the youngest PhD in nanotech in India. Having completed his master's in nanotechnology, following his bachelor's in computer science, Sir derives his expertise in a broad range of topics. May I now request Dr. R. Shivraman Sir, 3 times winner of DISC, to share his experience of Big Bang Boom Solutions with iDEX.
Thank you. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. So it's a wonderful opportunity that I've been given to be a part of this August crowd. And it takes a, I've been invited to this event by multiple people. One is through iDEX itself. My dear friend Saurabh has called me here, so it's a great pleasure to be a part of that. But it's also very important to note that this is the alma mater of one of our key investors. Mr. Arun Saxena had reached out to me even before iDEX and told me that this event is happening in his college. And since he's an investor in Big Bang Boom, I must be a part of it. So both as a part of the family and as part of iDEX family, I'm very, very happy to be here. I'll try to keep it brief. I'll try to tell you what we've been doing as a part of iDEX. We jumped onto the iDEX platform around 4 years back when we started our company in defense. I've spent a lot of time in doing R&D in academia, spent almost 8 years in academics, including a year in University of Western Australia and National University of Singapore. My first company was in EdTech, where we used to work with universities on inculcating research as a part of academia, as a part of curriculum, and encouraging students to do research projects as a part of their bachelor's, as a part of their master's, etc. After I exited that company, after we sold it in an IPO, we started working on defense as a core tech, as we said. And to us, iDEX was a perfect platform. When we started off, one of the biggest challenges that we had was that defense was a very opaque field. It was very hard to penetrate. It was dominated by the big companies such as the Adanis, the L&T, Bharat Forge, of course, the DPSUs such as OFB and DRDO. and there was very little things that private companies could do, especially startups. So iDEX was godsend, and in fact I was introduced to iDEX by the Defense Secretary himself, Dr. Ajay Kumar, who introduced us to the program and told us, why don't we start working on this. We were participants in both iDEX DISC-1 and DISC-2. We won both DISC-1 and DISC-2. We participated in 2 challenges, we won both of them. So we're one of the early adapters of this program. And it takes me great pleasure to tell you that the program has changed a lot from where it was when we joined in and where it is now. Like, this level of outreach was definitely not there. There's nobody walking into universities, incubators, trying to promote what are the challenges, etc. So that has come a long way. Second thing is, like, for example, just to give you an example, we won DISC-1 and it took us around 9 months to sign the contract, just to get the contract in place, put everything together, sign it, get the first tranche of money out, took us 9 months time. It took us around 6 months time for DISC-2, and it took us around 4 to 5 weeks of time in DISC-5 when we have won another challenge now. So the entire program has come a long way. There is a very motivated, dedicated team of program executives and program directors who sit out of DIO in Delhi, who ensure that the entire facilitation is seamless. There are nodal officers in Army, Navy and Air Force, and that is the biggest thing, where they will give you that problem definition statement after you win the challenge. That tells you what is it that they're expecting you to build in a 6 months, 12 month, 18 month kind of a time frame. That becomes very critical, because if you see the first challenge that we had won, it took us almost more than 9 months. After we got the contract, it took us 2 more months, right? So from the time of winning, it took us 11 months to get a problem definition statement. Here, after you win the challenge, before the contract is signed, the Army or the Navy or the Air Force will give you the PDS upfront. So the Army, Navy, Air Force have also become very proactive in providing these kind of services to you. If you look at iDEX as a program, while it is fantastic for us to think that, okay, we are getting 1.5 crore grants. I've had multiple people talk about how this money will help, etc. I'll tell you that the money is the least of the facilitations or provisions that are done. The biggest of the lot is the interface that you get with the armed forces itself. Understand that when you're building something for the armed forces, where it doesn't matter whether it's the Army, Navy or Air Force, the ground reality is very different from what we imagine today. So we can sit in a lab, build a product, but finally when you go down to the ground, there'll be numerous eccentricities, idiosyncrasies or situational needs where your product will not work or will not be useful for them. So having an interface such as a nodal officer who will guide you in every step and every milestone and course correct your entire innovation goes a long way in building something that will be useful and, more importantly, will be procured. See, given that you're trying to build a startup, your dharma is not just to build something that is innovative and give it to the government or something, but eventually it is to be able to set up a production plant, to be able to start mass manufacturing this and become a defense supplier or a defense OEM in its birthright. And to become an OEM, it is not important, or it's not just enough if you are able to do something innovative. It is very important that at the end of the day, the government is willing to procure it. And for that interface with the nodal officer becomes very critical. I'll just tell you a couple of stories where we found this very useful. For example, one of the projects that we have been working on is the see-through armor. We have finished the trials. UTRR is complete. In fact, what we call milestone 5 in iDEX is complete. We are currently, the AON approvals have come through for this. As a part of the see-through armor, we have modified a BMP-2 vehicle, which is an infantry combat vehicle. It's like a tank. We have fitted it with a number of cameras on top of it. We have drilled a couple of holes to let the wires in. We have installed on top of the tank not only 6 camera units, but also a network enclosure, a processing unit, and multiple heads-up displays. This was done with the facilitation of the DIO, which is the iDEX program, and the Army Design Bureau. Just to put this in context of how much the Army and the government have come forward, I met the CEO of Kalyani Group, one of the CEOs of Kalyani Group. Kalyani Group, if you guys know, is the parent of Bharat Forge, one of the largest defense manufacturers in the country. They also were upgrading the BMP2. They've been doing this project for the last 10 years. They have developed an indigenous gun to replace the gun, the main turret gun that is there on top of a BMP2. When they manufacture the entire gun, they had to test whether this gun will fit on top of a BMP2 seamlessly and whether it will continue being an amphibious in nature. It took them 7 years for a company such as Bharat Forge. Their balance sheet would be around 20,000 crores to get the necessary approvals, permissions to get a chassis of a vehicle. When it says chassis, it is only an empty shell, and that too cut in half so that only the front half where the gun is fitted is available to them. It took them 7 years to get the approval and get the machine. Through iDEX, we have drilled a hole into an operational vehicle. We have welded cameras on top of it and delivered the system back to the army within a year and a half. That is the difference between what defense engagement with private institutions used to be there, let's say 5 years back, and what iDEX is able to provide. And this I'm telling you. So why I tell you that 1.5 crores is nothing and that's not the focus at all is that Bharat Forge would have happily paid 1.5 crores. So it's not the question of money at all. It's just the question of how much the government is willing to let you in on the confidential information that's associated with it, let you get hands-on with the defense technologies, meet the end users and get licensing with them. That is worth several 10 times of what the grant may be available to you. So look at that as a fantastic opportunity. iDEX has given me extremely good experiences. We have been able to deploy our anti-drone systems in the forward operating base in Amritsar. We've been able to detect and monitor drones that were flying across the border over Lahore. We've got a chance to visit the Siachen Glacier. We've been driving the T-72s, the T-90s of the country. We have done firing trials with it. I think just the amount of exposure and experience that we have got through the iDEX program far outweighs the kind of grant or the other things that they provide. The key part of it is that when you have a problem statement in your hand, look at it, look at what everybody around the world are doing. A lot of the problem statements will have competitive benchmarking that can be done with it. Benchmark against the best in the world. Also try and understand what the army really wants, and the best way to do that would be talk to the nodal officers. All the nodal officers' contact details are provided to all the aspirants. There are outreach sessions that are being set up. There are sessions with Q&A sessions where you can join in and ask them more questions as to what they are really looking for. So understand what is it that they're expecting as a solution and build a technological a problem statement and a POC in line with that. If you're able to do that, I think you have a very, very good chance of getting it. And once you're part of the iDEX family, I think, we'll all have good fun together. Thank you. I'm happy to answer any specific questions you guys have for me.
Thank you, sir. We are elated to have you amongst us. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Oh, there is one question.
Thank you, sir. Great to be here. Let me introduce a moment for myself. I am Gaurav Bansal. I am product of this very institute, SGSITS 2012 Mechanical Branch. We have started our company in this year with armoring background, as you said, see-through armor, and you are developing Chobham armor, that is a composite for thing also. Recently, we will be developing bulletproof vehicles for Chhattisgarh Police, coming soon in Indore itself, in this year itself. My question to you is, we have seen a news about your company that soon a unicorn is coming in the defense. How has this journey been? What is the facts about it? And we are yet to see one in India. I would like to know your experience and your comments on that. Thank you.
Thanks. So, whether we are going to be the first defense unicorn or not, I don't know. I mean, we seem to be on track. First is something that we don't spend too much time worrying about. If we become a defense unicorn, it will be great. I think, see, the critical part about how you grow the company is that you need to have a focus on what is it that you're trying to achieve. So we have spent a lot of time working on specific problem statements or specific products that we believe will have a long-term impact, right? A long-term impact needs to have a technological jump. Like, so one of the major things that happens when you do this R&D and you start developing products and you start trying to sell them, understand that anything in defense takes a long time. Even with the new DAP that is in place and the new fast track procurement process that is in place, the timeline between, let's say, a product that has gone through trials and procurement may take anywhere between 1 to 2 years. Your development time frame is another year. So if you want to become a huge company in defense, you need to build a product that will be relevant for the next 10 years. That is when you will make money out of it. अगर आपका प्रोडक्ट 1 साल में अपडेट हो जाता है, आपका प्रोडक्ट 1 साल में रिप्लेस हो जाता है दूसरा टेक्नोलॉजी से, देन आपको कुछ नहीं बनेगा. ठीक है? So don't look at, so the main thing is don't try to solve problems of today, try and solve problems of tomorrow. If you are able to solve problems of tomorrow and you are able to solve problems that the entire world is facing. See, if you look at each product that we have taken, we have never focused only on India. Our primary job is India. We are an Indian startup. We are suppliers to the Indian Army. But we look at that the technology is applicable all over the world. Because eventually, one, as Indians, we have a commitment to the nation. Two, as a owner, as a CEO of a company, we have a commitment to our shareholders. Like Arun Saxena, who is a alumni of this particular institute itself. So you should look at something that has international exposure, because the government also is looking at facilitating defense exports. So that was one of the other things that I didn't mention earlier, saying that currently there's a lot of emphasis where DIO, the Defense Ministry, is providing us with the necessary infrastructure to allow us to export products. So don't look at it as something that will be only sold in India or only in Chhattisgarh or only to the police. Build something that can be sold worldwide. Not only will the MOD buy it, but the MOD will also facilitate G2G deals with other countries. So have that bigger vision, and I'm sure we'll have 3 or 4 defense unicorns from the 100 people that I see sitting here. And if you guys have any doubts, any questions on anything that has to do with iDEX or fundraising, so we have done fundraising a few times. I run a 800 crore hedge fund. So if there's anything of that sort, please feel free to contact me. My contact details are available. You can either contact me through iDEX. All the people should have my details. Or your alumni network, Mr. Arun Saxena, is also a good person to touch base with.
Thank you, sir. We are pleasured with the presence of Lieutenant Colonel Amey, who is posted as Instructor Class A at MCTE at present. The officer was commissioned into Corps of Signals in December 2007. He has completed his BTech in Communication and IT from MCTE in December 2008 and MTech from IIT Kanpur in July 2021. Currently, he is handling 2 Idx projects as nodal officer from MCTE. One project is in AI domain and the other is in quantum technology domain. May I now request Lieutenant Colonel Amey to address the gathering.
Okay, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Lieutenant Colonel Amey Hasabnis. It seems my last name is tricky to pronounce, so it has been avoided so far. But I'm habitual of it, not to worry. Okay. At the outset, I'd like to thank DIO for giving me opportunity to address such an august gathering. It is very, very meaningful and very exciting to interact with such a vibrant audience, irrespective of the age and domains, keen on working for defense. It's very heartening to see that. So I'll be giving the user perspective on iDEX in next 10 minutes or so. Next, please. I'll be just covering my briefing under following heads. At MCT, I believe most of you may not be knowing about MCT. So I'll just quickly cover what we are, who are we, and what we deal with. Then what all Idx projects that we handle at MCT. Then the assistance that we provided to the innovators. That is important. I believe all the challengers and all the innovators must be interested in what all support that you get from us. That I'll cover briefly. Then naturally, once we give so much of support, we also have some expectations from the innovators. I'll cover that briefly. And finally, a case study on Idx project that I'm handling, so that you get a hands-on experience on what actually, how the projects are progressed. As brought out by most of the Idx family members, that role of nodal officer is very, very important. And for them, it is a very important aspect for progress of the project. So that has reinvigorated my sense of responsibility being a nodal officer. Next, please. So in MCT, we are a military college of telecommunication engineers. So for Indian Army, all the communicators are trained in MCT. We deal with the communication aspects and computer network aspects of Indian Army in peace and in war. So we are actually the center of excellence and nodal agencies for a number of advanced technological domains, that is artificial intelligence, quantum technology, 5G communication, space communication, cyber warfare, and IoT. So the training that we impart in MCT is all related to the communication engineering, right from diploma level, degree level, postgraduate level, also electronic warfare, cyber warfare, information warfare, and number of other domains, even the cryptology. So these are the domains in which MCT deals with. So as a result, as a fallout of that, the iDEX projects that we handle, next please. The iDEX projects that we handle are as listed on the slide. The first one is by Mr. Naval Jain, Challenge 1.0. So as brought out, there are two ways of approaching. Like there was a question that if a person from chemistry background can have a meaningful contribution. Definitely, yes. It is not only about engineering solutions that we're looking forward to. We call it NBC warfare. It's nuclear, biological, chemical warfare, which is also equally important for the country. And if you have some gainful idea for the nation as such, it can be put through the open challenges. Then the point I want to highlight here with the 7 projects that we have is just see the canvas of projects that we can have. It is a mix of DISC challenges and open challenges, and most of the challenges are open challenges. That means the idea has been generated by the industry or the startups or the innovators, and it is something like I have developed something and I feel that it has an immense military application. So why can't our defense forces get benefited from that? That is the approach of open challenges. The other way is DISC. That is, I as a Corps of Signals officer, as a communicator, know that these are the challenges which I face, and if I can get some help from the bright young minds of the nation, then I would be happy to have the solution about that. So that is the approach that we have. So the domains that we are dealing with is quantum, AI, the space communication, the combat communication, like Mr. Jain's project relates to combat communication. The solution that he is going to develop is going to be used by the person who is actually fighting war on ground in the situations like Doklam and Galwan. So if you relate to that, then that is the satisfaction that you can get, that the solution developed by me is going to be actually used by the person on the ground who is fighting war for the nation. So it is not only that I can serve the nation by being in uniform, but by enabling the person in uniform also you can equally contribute. And I resonate with the view of the chief guest that don't look for the job in army. You can yourself create jobs which are in turn directly or indirectly facilitating the armed forces. Next, please. Okay. So, this is the assistance provided by us. The first is the PDS. It is the problem definition statement that is created by us. As a nodal officer, I write the problem statement in a document form which can be understood by all and which explains the problem statement in detail and what type of solution is envisaged. that is given in the PDS. And as a PDS of fallout of the PDS is the PRU, that is project requirement units. So as a result, what all type of hardware or software or what kind of solution the prototype should look like, that is defined in the PRU. So that is the point. What we need to understand is that ultimately, me being a Corps of Signals officer, I know the ground reality, how the war is fought on ground, and I also have the technical knowledge. The thing which I lack for finding solution is the time, because we have got so many commitments and so many other tasks to do. The innovation that can be done by young minds will be assisting in finding the overall solution. So that is the responsibility of a nodal officer for creating the PDS and PRU. Then, and it is not a one-way communication, it's not a simplex communication. Once we give the PDS and PRU, and through iterative processes, once the challenger wins it, it may so happen that you have better ideas as a solution to the problem definition statement. So it is not that, it's not a very authoritative kind of environment that I want a solution in a particular manner, it has to be given in the same. It is, if you give a better solutions in an iterative manner, even the PDSs and PRUs are revised based on your suggestions and improved upon. Next point is the briefings related to procedures. Since I'm a nodal officer for 2 projects, and in the interim, because of my inquisitive nature, I keep poking my nose in Mr. Jain's project as well. So what happens is that I get to know that you have technological edge or the scientific edge, I should say, rather than sticking only to the technology. You have the scientific knowledge and technological domain knowledge, but what you at times lack is the on-ground reality of armed forces, that how the solution is going to be actually used on ground. So you need to understand the solutions that you're going to develop is going to be used by a person who is fighting the war, who is constantly under the threat of his life. He is constantly endeavoring to defeat his enemy, kill his enemy, and at the same time using your solution. So your solution has to be a force multiplier for him first. And secondly, it should be so user-friendly that even under the threat of his life, instinctively he should be able to use that solution. It has to be that user-friendly. So these are the challenges. And again, once we talk about Indian Army, we have to cater for 50 degrees plus in Jaisalmer and minus 20 degree in Leh. So that is the reason the solutions also have to be military standards and ruggedized to be worked in all kinds of geographical locations. So these are the things at times which we need to emphasize upon as a nodal officer, and we definitely do that. Then apart from that, we have iterated with discussions and evaluation about the solution. Next slide, please. Okay. Now, depending upon the nature of the project, there are a number of things that we provide. Like the previous speaker brought out that even the armored ICV, that is armored infantry combat vehicle, BMP-2 was provided to him for the innovation which he was required to do. So there is no embargo on giving you access to the equipment or the data. So depending on the projects, we do give the military grade equipment. The example is there with you. Mr. Naval Jain, we have given him a radio set which is a military grade equipment. It's a radio set Stars V, which has been given to him for the necessary modification. So there is no embargo on giving the equipments. There are certain projects for which I'll be providing the servers. We have high-end servers with us for the AI related projects. The compute power has to be high. The GIS related solutions, the compute power needs to be high. We hold that kind of equipment, and that will be provided to you for prototyping. Then another important aspect is space. At times, there are certain solutions which needs lots of space or conducive environment. So that also is provided by us as user agency. Then relevant literature, like if I'm giving you a Stars V radio set, I will also give you the access of user manual, how to use it, which buttons to press for what modes and all. Then relevant data depending on the security classification. Once I cover my case study, I'll cover this point more pertinently. coordination of field trials. Like day after, Mr. Navaljan is going to carry out some field trials for the solution that he has created. We do have our training exercises. That is the ideal environment where field trials can be conducted. And once field trials are conducted, then they are tried out in actual field conditions. Like one of the Idx project, we recently had a trial in Leh. So those are the things which we coordinate for you as a innovator. Next, please. So since we put in so much of time and energy and heart and soul into the solution building along with you as nodal officers, we do have some expectations from the innovators as well. So first and foremost is understanding the problem statement. Till the time you don't understand the problem statement well, there is high likelihood that the solution may go haywire. So it is very, very important to understand the problem statement with open mind, for which we are ready to put in the hard yards and explain you iteratively. Then we are, again, the way I mentioned that the PDS is not a firm document, it is subject to changes based on your valuable suggestions. So those are encouraged. Another small anecdote I would like to mention here. While developing a solution, explaining a problem statement, the innovator asked me that whether how US Army is tackling it and don't they have solution to it. So my answer to that was, I don't care whether US Army has it or not. The point I want to bring forward is it is our problem. We cannot have the same template what US Army is utilizing copy pasted in our solution. We want original solutions because the geography and the climate wherein they fight their wars differs with ours, right? So we need tailor-made solutions for Indian Army. So that mindset of looking towards other countries, advanced countries, and trying to copy paste the solution would not augur well. We need to have original solutions, and for that we are open for a number of iterative discussions. However, how many times that you want, that we are willing to do, but we need an original solution. Another point is that sustained and sincere efforts. It should not. There is a word in Hindi, we call it arambha shuru. Shuru mein bahut josh hota hai, and then the josh gets fizzled out. So that should not happen. Once you have taken up the challenge, the sustained efforts have to be put in, and holistic approach and foresight. That is important. The way very rightly brought out by the previous speaker. If you are finding a solution, find a solution for next 10 years. Precisely the point that he covered. Then adherence to the timelines. See, initially what happens is once you are proposing a solution, you are given the leeway of deciding the milestones, which are evaluated further. So that they can be fine-tuned, but the primarily milestones are proposed by you. And once something you have proposed, then we insist upon that you should stick to the timelines that you have provided. It should not happen that if milestone was supposed to be completed in 3 months and even after 6 months, the first milestone itself is not achieved. There could be some issues, hurdles, understood. We all are reasonable people to deal with. But then the lack of sincerity and lack of effort should not be there. Proactive approach, fairly self-explanatory, and handing over of the prototype. What happens is that there were experiences in the past that we were told that it was only the technological demonstration which was supposed to be given to you. No, it is not. Once the prototype has been developed, prototype has to be handed over to the Indian Army, and based on that only the large-scale production scale orders can be placed. So the prototype once developed has to be handed over to the Indian Army or any defense agency that is asked for it. Next, please. Okay. So coming to the case study, I'll talk about the AI-based RF spectrum management solution. So the genesis of the problem is that we use humongous amount of wireless transmitters once we go for wars, especially the offensive wars. So what happens that right from the smallest body of troops of 10 that we call a section has a radio set, then platoon, then all the tanks, artillery guns, all the weaponaries, drones, aircrafts, attack helicopters, everything, even the radars, air defense radars, everything needs radio spectrum. Either you are communicating, or for radar, we call it non-communication, non-com. Either for com or non-com, you need to have a piece of spectrum. And in the battle, what happens is that the body of troops like formations, brigades, units, divisions keep moving around. So depending on what geographical area they are moving around, the number of spectrum, the number of radio sets being used by them at various levels, various time of the day keeps varying, and day by day the requirement of spectrum is increasing very exponentially, right? And the availability of spectrum is coming down because for 3G, 4G, 5G, it is the defense band which gets encroached. So ultimately the defense band which is available to us is shrinking, whereas requirement is increasing. So it's a very complex matrix to fit in. And so far, the thing is which is being done is very rudimentary automation, like Excel sheet or something. And we need to put in some efforts to automate the process and infuse AI into it. So that is the requirement. So that is the challenge which was given as a DISC-5 challenge, AI-based RF spectrum management. And solution envisaged is AI-based solution infused with the GIS, wherein the geographical area is seen depending on the formation. And he can tell his requirement that I have so many brigades, so many battalions, so many artillery regiment under me. And with each regiment, we should know the equipment profile, we should know the spectrum requirement, and automatically the allocation of available bandwidth vis-a-vis the requirement should be mapped and told as a ready-made solution visible onto the GIS. That's the solution that we're trying to come to. So in that, what is my contribution as MCT is that being nodal officer, I've defined the PDS and PRU, that problem definition statement and project requirement units. And okay, another point that I would pertinently note here is that from the Army side, there are two important persons for the implementation of IDEX project. One is nodal officer and the second is coordinator officer, right? So nodal officer is typically from a training institute. Like for example, if you are developing something related to the artillery regiment, then the nodal officer will be from the training institute of artillery, and coordinating officer will be from the user, final on-ground user perspective, right? So what happens, it gives a good amalgamation of a person who is in training institute has the aptitude of the research and technology and the development of the solution, and also being a field officer, he has the knowledge of the on-ground situation as well. And the coordinating officer will help you more in the procedural issues, making data available, telling you the procedures, how things are happening on the ground. So in this particular case, the PDS and PRU which I've created have been value added by the coordinating officer of Director Signal 6. That is the nodal agency for entire spectrum management of Indian Army. So the procedural issues and the provision of data will be taken care by him. And how can we implement the solution technologically in the best possible manner, that is my responsibility. So that is how we try to implement the IDEX projects. This is the user perspective that I had to give it to you. And any questions for me, I'm open for that now.
So for AI-based problem, the data is required. And for the security reason, getting the live data, I think, is difficult. So how would you handle such kind of thing?
Okay, it's a very prudent question, ma'am. How we do it, that for the first, the innovator is requested to make the milestones, right, ma'am? So what happens is that in the first milestone or maybe up to the second milestone, we request him to create a prototype based on the open source data. That is anything which is readily available on internet. That means, for example, not exactly the military grade radio set, but the commercially the radio sets which are being used in military. For example, Motorola sets. The data set of that particular radio set is readily available. They can train their model on the open source data initially, shows the prototype. Once we think that the prototype has potential or has met the expected expectations, then what we do is that we share the actual data based on the security classification. If security classification doesn't allow us for data to go out, the innovator comes in, the data is made available within our premises, and then then the models are trained. That is how we go about it, ma'am. Yes, please.
So, good afternoon. I looked at the DISC-6 route example. I find a problem which I have a solution, let us assume. So, where do you get the PDS and PRU for the, what I find is an abstract of the problem.
Okay.
So, I want the PDS and PRU.
So PDS and PRUs are provided by the DIO, sir.
So, where do I contact, or rather, how do I contact?
Mr. Saurabh.
Okay, so you are here. Okay. So, I need more information before, rather, I want to understand the problem more clearly. So, a small abstract is given. Instead, I need more information. Okay. Sure. So the nodal official information is given, or where do I find it? Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. I'll just contact you. Sure. Thanks.
Hello. Thank you for the presentation, sir. Actually, my question could be stupid. I run an IT company, okay, and my company is also here. We are so excited and we are very much willing to support Indian Army. My question is, for example, I mean, I have seen all your challenges, but I'm not confident that I will be able to get an approval. But still, like, I belong to your domain. That's why I'm asking you. So, is it possible to be a supporter for someone who already get the approval? For example, if I want to help that company who got the approval, is it possible?
I think that should not be an issue. You can be a part of the technical team. So Mr. Saurabh will be able to throw light better on that. But as far as my knowledge goes, you can be part of the technical team. So you want to be a smaller subset of a larger set which is already approved.
Yeah, right. That's my question.
Mr. Saurabh will be able to tell you better, but I personally feel it should not be an issue.
Okay, thank you.
Project, how we get the domain knowledge, because
How we get, ma'am?
the domain knowledge, because suppose I am knowing the technology,
Mhm.
but I am not aware about all this system of defense and all that. So suppose I want to contribute, so
By system, you mean the equipment profile, ma'am? Or
my equipment means, suppose you want to do certain innovation.
Mhm.
I am knowing AI, but the domain is required for something to know about the defense system.
Mhm.
So how to approach or how to get about the system? So think about to give the solution.
Ma'am,
This,
through
my question is that I'm not knowing anything about the defense system. Then how
agreed,
is it-
ma'am.
how
Ma'am, see, whenever you go onto the website of DIO, ma'am, the problem statements will be given. There will be one paragraph, short description about the problem will be given. So if it is correlating with your domain, and you know, if you feel that you will be able to provide the solution about that, then you can always fill in the application, ma'am. There's nothing out of the world that we're asking for. If you can quote some example, I can explain better.
Can I contribute to her question?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir, please.
The simple answer, ma'am, can you please listen? Simple answer is we need to create an ecosystem within the institute who the stakeholders from defense or people who are having domain knowledge. If that ecosystem is created within the institute or R&D organization, that can facilitate you interfacing, addressing the larger problem statement.
Ma'am, to tell you in other words, ma'am, if you feel that whatever your domain expertise are, any of them, if have military application, you can just fill in the open challenge form. And what happens is that once the open challenge comes, it is assessed that in army also, even in tri services and even within army, there are so many agencies dealing with so many different kind of things. So at the DIO level, it will be identified at the ADB, that is the organization which works with it is Army Design Bureau, works with DIO. They will identify that this particular solution will best fit for Corps of Signals, or maybe infantry, or maybe artillery, or maybe armored. And the solution will be offered to them with this kind of solution with military application has come to us. If you find that it can fit your requirement, then that problem statement can be taken ahead, if I'm not wrong. So that is the other way of other perspective of looking at it, ma'am.
Sir, can we solve part of the problem for this? Say, for example, 11-meter boat. It is required by the Coast Guard, and we have the unique engine design. Then can we put that on that, or design whole 11-meter boat?
I'm not very sure about the procedure about this part, sir.
Subset.
So solution in parts are not entertained, sir. So in that case, I would encourage you to kind of building a team who has another part of the solution other than you, so that you can provide a joint solution. And to answer your question, ma'am, actually you need to find someone from the agency that you are seeking to solve, and that particular person can give you insight or overview about that particular challenge or the domain knowledge that you are seeking. So for example, if you are looking for army challenge to solve, so like Lieutenant Colonel May or any other army personnel, you need to approach and then make the connection, and then he can probably help you understand the particular problem statement and have the domain knowledge for that particular challenge. This approach you can take.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, sir. I am profusely elated to take an opportunity to introduce one of the illustrious alumni of 1982 batch of Mechanical Engineering Department of SGSITS, Mr. Dk Sharma Sir. Sir has served Godrej and Boyce Manufacturing Company Limited at various levels in leadership roles and served as Executive Vice President and Business Head of Godrej Tooling. Mr. Sharma was elected as President of Tool and Gauge Manufacturers Association of India in the year 2017. Now I request Mr. Dk Sharma Sir to shed some light on the roles of MSMEs, incubators, and academic institutions in iDEX and Endeavor.
Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Oh, thank you. A very good evening to you all, and namaskar to my gurus, Dr. Chande and Professor Tapan Mukherjee, who's in the audience. I'm very impressed with the presentations made by the winners in this outreach program, and the kind of pains now government and iDEX is taking to reach out to all the stakeholders. I'm very, very impressed with the kind of clarifications given to the audience, and I was a little upset when Saurabh presented the map, and we were missing. MP is very close to my heart because I was born in Bhopal and I studied in GSITS campus. So, but talking on the positive side, I think things have changed a lot. The Prime Minister himself has made it very, very clear that he would like to see Central India on the map of this innovation and serving the defense sector. So I am blessed to have worked for the organization which has been serving the nation for the last several decades. We are one of the oldest organizations in the country, 125 years. And we started our journey by serving the nation in many, many ways. And I'm happy to say that I am blessed to have worked Dr. under Kalam as a mentor. Who, we made Chandrayaan in our campus at Vikhroli. We have been working on several GSLV, PSLV components. We have also made, BrahMos missile, which is a supersonic missile, and also, mobile automated launcher. So our journey has been totally a proof of collaborative approach. We have the IIT Mumbai next door, so we consulted them. This is precisely the point what I'm making, that how important is to collaborate academia, the policymakers, the institute, the incubators, and we have a young talent available with us. We were there as a part of the alumni visiting from Mumbai about a fortnight back. And I was very, very excited to see the enthusiasm in the faculty at GSITS as well as the students and the alumni startups. The young boys have got talent. Naval Jain has, saved our face to put Indore on the map of, this whole initiative. But, Manan Suri, Professor Manan Suri, and I think some of the, Mr. Shivraman have clearly narrated this, so I would not like to repeat over here. The end user experience has been highlighted so many times during this meet. And this is precisely my experience has been how the wonders can be done. I would like to tell you two small success stories. Immediately after the Kargil war, when the government was concerned about, production of, bullets, I was approached by the Ministry of Defense to renovate or refurbish one of the Waterbury Ferrule brand bullet making machine. And it was brought to my factory, and we worked day and night to make, I will give you an analogy, to make a Maruti car turned into Mercedes. And it used to produce about 16 bullets in one stroke of the press, and we converted into 90 bullets. God knows how many, enemies got killed with number of bullets produced by it. So it's a service to the nation, as Amey also mentioned and several other speakers mentioned. Let's not look at only, from the business point of view, but my advice, which I think got skipped by several speakers, is though we talk about, putting a ban on the import list of 150 items by Ministry of Defense, but there is huge opportunity for us to work, MSMEs particularly, to innovate and, work in many ways. Forget about the big projects which were narrated. They are large in value, not really fit for MSMEs. But there are low-hanging fruits. There are nearly 4,000 items enlisted for MSMEs. It could be small valves to wiring harnesses, to bellows, to voltage stabilizers, to cranes, to filters, actuators. There are many, many items. You can go to the website of MOD and find all these opportunities. Godrej Aerospace is available, and which is available providing guidance to all the startups. I invite you. You have my contacts with the institute. You are most welcome. I'm very excited to see that we come on the map of this serving the defense from our institute particularly, and we are at the right place, as Dr. Chande mentioned. We are at the right time, and we can do wonders. Only thing is, we should have assertiveness, commitment to the nation, and also earn money in the long run. We have seen that we have taken a hit. There was a lot of failures in the past when Dr. Kalam used to come to us and asked me a direct question that, DK, do you penalize your team members for failures? It was a direct question put to me by Dr. Kalam. So, he was a great motivator. So all of us as leaders present over here must encourage the failures, must provide support in all the possible manners to see that, India becomes a great nation. Atmanirbhar Bharat is not just a slogan. We have made it happen more than n number of times, and there are good success stories, as several people narrated. And I feel, the ecosystem, what we are talking about, all of us must take up this responsibility of contributing in some way or the other. We are a young country, we are a knowledgeable country, and we will never find better times than this to serve our nation. This is from, I would like to close my comments over here. We are running late. So thank you all once again for giving me the opportunity to be a part of this meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. From the edge of our arts, we are extremely overwhelmed to have amongst us such an extreme personality. I would like to welcome Mr. Tapan Mukherjee, sir. He is a well-known industrialist based in Indore. He is currently a director of TechForce Composites Private Limited and Printronics Engineers Private Limited. He is always ready to guide and nurture future generation, has been an active in the theatre world. May I now request Mr. Tapan Mukherjee, sir, veteran alumni and director of SGSIT's Incubation Forum, to share his knowledge on the production of indigenous defense equipment.
Jai Hind, gentlemen, and the ladies, of course. 2022 is becoming life-changing year we all have been looking for. It's our time now. It's we who have to try and accept the challenge. So, if you try, you only risk failure. But if you don't try, you ensure failure. So it's better to try. Here, I would like to share some of my experiences. So let me tell you something about GSITS. GSITS started doing work for defense forces in 1971. In 1971, BSF Indore had certain problem of a target. They wanted to sense the bullet hitting the target, and they tried number of methods. They used a microphone and all those things, all failed. So one of the officers, he thought that, okay, he would put some insulating sheet on that GI sheet which they used as the target. They put insulating sheet and then aluminum foil, and when the bullet will pass through it, it will make a short circuit and the lamp can glow. But it didn't work. They came to us. I calculated. I found that the muzzle speed, muzzle velocity of bullet is so high that it will make a short circuit for about duration of about 10 microseconds. So that will not make a lamp glow. So then I made a circuit and that worked. And the news went to their Director General, and the Director General, when he came to Indore, he wanted to meet me. And he gave me another problem. And that problem we took in the college as a project. It was my master's degree project. It was a complete shooting range with all the records to come on a desk, and each shooter finds out what is his score. And that certainly worked. I got my master's degree, and this was tested in the field, and it was used there. Incidentally, it was shown to Mrs. Gandhi also that time. So GSITS certainly worked for defense forces. Later on, when I left GSITS, luckily I got another chance with BSF to develop some things, a machine which was otherwise they had to import. I was successful in making it, and that worked very well. It came in the newspaper. Next morning, I got a call from Mau, the army officer, a brigadier. He said, Tapan, you come over, I'll give you order. I got the order from army. Now, I started making for all armed forces, all these different types of targets for combat shooting as well as for sports shooting. What is the important thing in it? Our colonel has already explained to you what are the army requirements or defense specifications, and I strictly followed those defense specifications. And that's why I did not get there was no competitor for me. You must have confidence and you must have courage to accept the requirements of defense forces. I got an order, there was a tender of ITBP for jungle shooting range and a terrorist hut. So the tender was there, I filled the tender, and there was only another competitor, and his price was much, much lower than me. But then his specifications did not match the army requirements. That's why I got the order. They sent me the order. I was very happy. I was sleeping very happily that night. At about 12 o'clock, I got a call from one of the officers. He said that our Director General wants this whole thing to be computerized. My goodness. I said, okay, I will do it. But you have to increase the price. He said, yes, you send another offer with the computer system. That time, I was not knowing what computer system I'm going to apply. How am I going to solve their problem with the computer? I was not knowing, but I accepted the challenge. Then I worked out and sent an offer, it was accepted. Then I started working on computer solution. Certainly, I worked very hard and I got the solution. Then I made the whole system computerized. That means you just press a button and everything will be working, and the score of the shooter will come on the screen. When this was displayed, when I also went there, when this was inaugurated by the Director General, after inauguration, after seeing the demonstration, he told me, this is what I wanted. What a great prize for me. So, you must have confidence when you are working for the army. You must keep in mind that all the specifications should be as per the army requirements. The temperature, maximum temperature goes up to 50. Your system should be suitable, workable up to 55 degrees Celsius. Temperature goes below up to -20. Your system should be designed to be capable of working at -40. Whether it is electrical or mechanical or any type of system, it has to be as per army specifications. I'll give you another example. Incidentally, another competitor got developed in Indore. It was only one BSF officer was not very happy. So he wanted another person to make the same type of target which I used to make. There was a target in which there was a machine in which there was 5 targets. And all the 5 targets would turn like this and then go back. So I used a steel link. It was high-speed steel, flat, which I used. And that link was connected with all the 5 targets. So when the motor runs, the steel link will move and all the 5 targets will turn by 90 degrees. So the officer, he showed my competitor, this is the machine, you see, you work on it. So he just copied the whole machine, he made it, and during the trials, it failed miserably. Actually, during initial trials, it worked, but during the competition, it failed miserably. And incidentally, the referee was a friend of mine because all the officers were very well known to me. He came from Punjab. So he phoned me immediately. Tapan, ye kya banaya tumne? I said, maine nahi banaya ye. Somebody else has made it. He said, okay, I'm blacklisting the party. Why it failed? Because he used MS flat in place of a high-speed steel flat. So this is what you have to be careful of. You have to stick to the army specifications. That is very important. So what is holding you? You go ahead. This is a very good opportunity for all the people of Indore. I'm not saying all the people of GSITS, all the people of Indore who have been working, who have been trying to become a startup, or who have been trying to become an incubator with our incubation forum. So please take this as a challenge, accept the challenge, and work for it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. I would like to call upon Professor P.P. Bansod, sir, to conclude the eve with his word of mouth.
Good evening to all of you present here and those who have joined online. I take this opportunity to formally propose a vote of thanks. First of all, I would like to thank the Defense Ministry, Government of India, for their initiative to promote startup and indigenous development with the support of research, academic institutes and other industries, and specially selecting GSITS Indore for the central region. I extend my sincere thanks to Professor P.K. Chande, today's chief guest, for sharing his valuable thoughts in this direction. I am grateful to Mr. Saurabh Bhoyer from Defense Innovation Organization, who has very nicely projected the opportunity, what we can do, how we can contribute, the execution of the same, the evaluation aspects, and he has very well clarified the queries of the audience. I also thank Professor Manan Suri, who has very nicely explained the role of an academic institution for DIO and iDEX program. I also thank Mr. Naval Jain for sharing his journey of participation in iDEX and to come out with a solution and the process and the procedure which he has followed. I also thank Dr. Shivaraman for giving an insight of innovation and product development for field applications and especially taking into consideration the ground realities. I extend my thanks to Lieutenant Colonel Amey Hasabnis from Indian Army, who has given the end user perspective of these innovations. It is evident that a radical change can be brought upon in our country with affordable products only when they are acceptable and they stick to the norms of the end user. I thank Mr. Dk Sharma, who nicely explained the avenues and ways to be a part of the IDEX program and to contribute towards it. I also thank Professor Tapan Mukherjee for sharing his lifelong experience, specifically for the defense sector, and providing the engineering solutions to that. I will not forget to express sincere thanks to MCT Mahu SGS ITS, SGS ITS Incubation Forum, and our director, Dr. Rakesh Saxena, who have supported to organize this program. Last but not least, I extend my thanks to faculty and students of SGS ITS, other institutes, industry participants for participating in program of such national importance. Thanks to media persons, all volunteers and organizing team, and especially Sejal for good conduction. I invite you all to present here to join high tea outside this auditorium. Jai Hind.
Thank you, sir. Now I request you all to move outside the auditorium for the high tea and networking.